Grizzly's Growls presents Stories from the Hiber-Nation. Read by David Grizzly Smith. Hello again, this is David Grizzly Smith, your host and narrator. I mentioned on the last episode that since the essays themselves are quite brief, maybe 15-20 minutes altogether, I could in fact record two of them and put two of them together into one episode and thus have fewer episodes and be able to do this at a much faster rate. I could do that. That's true. I came to the conclusion, however, that, well, as I may have mentioned, well, I certainly have mentioned previously, albeit not in this particular series, I record in an environment that is profoundly affected by traffic noises, and I happen to live right on a major road. And so the only time that I can record with little enough traffic noise to produce anything worthwhile is about 2 in the morning, as it is about now, actually, about 2:30 almost right now. So, and given, I have a day job, right? So, if I'm recording on, say, a Sunday night as compared to right now, it's Saturday night or Sunday morning. If I'm recording at night, I still need to get some sleep so I can be up in the morning and do my day job. So, while I could record longer episodes with multiple essays, in that sense, I don't really, I suppose, have the time. I do need to get some sleep, and I do have a day job. So I think I'm going to stick to doing one essay per episode for the foreseeable future. It may be that down the road I'll double up if the time constraints change. But right now, that's what I'm going to do. So, just so you know, going on with, we're on Federalist 3 now, and enjoy, I guess. Take care. The Federalist Papers, Essays on the New Constitution, written by Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, and James Madison, under the nom de plume of Publius, read by David Grizzly Smith. Federalist number 3. The same subject continued, concerning dangers from foreign force and influence. For the Independent Journal, author John Jay. To the people of the state of New York. It is not a new observation that the people of any country, if, like the Americans, intelligent and well-informed, seldom adopt and steadily persevere for many years in an erroneous opinion respecting their interests. That consideration naturally tends to create great respect for the high opinion which the people of America have so long and uniformly entertained of the importance of their continuing firmly united under one federal government, vested with sufficient powers for all general and national purposes. The more attentively I consider and investigate the reasons which appear to have given birth to this opinion, the more I become convinced that they are cogent and conclusive. Among the many objects to which a wise and free people find it necessary to direct their attention, that of providing for their safety seems to be the first. The safety of the people doubtless has relation to a great variety of circumstances and considerations, and consequently affords great latitude to those who wish to define it precisely and comprehensively. At present I mean only to consider it as it respects security, for the preservation of peace and tranquility, as well as against dangers from foreign arms and influence, as from dangers of the like kind arising from domestic causes. As the former of these comes first in order, it is proper it should be first discussed. Let us therefore proceed to examine whether the people are not right in their opinion, that a cordial union under an efficient national government affords them the best security that can be devised against hostilities from abroad. The number of wars which have happened or will happen in the world will always be found to be in proportion to the number and weight of the causes, whether real or pretended, which provoke or invite them. If this remark be just, it becomes useful to inquire whether so many just causes of war are likely to be given by united America as by disunited America. For if it should turn out that America will probably give the fewest, then it will follow that in this respect the Union tends most to preserve the people in a state of peace with other nations. The just causes of war, for the most part, arise either from violation of treaties or from direct violence. America has already formed treaties with no less than 6 foreign nations, and all of them, except Prussia, are maritime, and therefore able to annoy and injure us. She has also extensive commerce with Portugal, Spain, and Britain, and with respect to the 2 latter has, in addition, the circumstance of neighborhood to attend to. It is of high importance to the people of America that she observes the laws of nations towards all these powers, and to me it appears evident that this will be more perfectly and punctually done by one national government than it could be either by 13 separate states or by 3 or 4 distinct confederacies. Because, when once an efficient national government is established, the best men in the country will not only consent to serve, but also will be generally appointed to manage it. For although town or country, or other contracted influence, may place men in state assemblies or senates or courts of justice or executive departments, yet more general and extensive reputation for talents and other qualifications will be necessary to recommend men to offices under national government, especially as it will have the widest field for choice, and never experience that want of proper persons which is not uncommon in some of the states. Hence, it will result that the administration and political councils and judicial decisions of the national government will be more wise, systematical, and judicious than those of the individual states, and consequently more satisfactory with respect to other nations, as well as more safe with respect to us. Because, under the national government, treaties and articles of treaties, as well as the laws of nations, will always be expounded in one sense and executed in the same manner, whereas adjudications on the same points and questions in 13 states or in 3 or 4 confederacies will not always accord or be consistent, and that, as well as from the variety of independent courts and judges appointed by different and independent governments, as from the different local laws and interests which may affect and influence them. The wisdom of the convention, in committing such questions to the jurisdiction and judgment of courts appointed by and responsible only to one national government, cannot be too much commended. Because the prospect of present loss or advantage may often tempt the governing party in 1 or 2 states to swerve from good faith and justice, but those temptations not reaching the other states, and consequently having little or no influence on the national government, the temptation will be fruitless, and good faith and justice will be preserved. The case of the Treaty of Peace with Britain adds great weight to this reasoning. Because, even if the governing party in a state should be disposed to resist such temptations, yet as such temptations may, and commonly do, result from circumstances peculiar to the state, and may affect a great number of inhabitants, the governing party may not always be able, if willing, to prevent the injustice meditated or punish the aggressors, but the national government, not being affected by those local circumstances, will neither be induced to commit the wrong themselves nor want power or inclination to prevent or punish its commission by others. So far, therefore, as either designed or accidental violations of treaties and laws of nations afford just causes of war, they are less to be apprehended under one general government than under several lesser ones, and in that respect the former most favors the safety of the people. As to those just causes of war which proceed from direct and unlawful violence, it appears equally clear to me that one good national government affords vastly more security against dangers of that sort than can be derived from any other quarter. Because such violences are more frequently caused by the passions and interests of a part than of the whole, of 1 or 2 states than of the Union. Not a single Indian war has yet been occasioned by aggressions of the present federal government, feeble as it is, but there are several instances of Indian hostilities having been provoked by the improper conduct of individual states, who, either unable or unwilling to restrain or punish offenses, have given occasion to the slaughter of many innocent inhabitants. The neighborhood of Spanish and British territories, bordering on some states and not on others, naturally confines the causes of quarrel more immediately to the borderers. The bordering states, if any, will be those who, under the impulse of sudden irritation and a quick sense of apparent interest or injury, will be most likely, by direct violence, to excite war with these nations. And nothing can so effectually obviate that danger as a national government, whose wisdom and prudence will not be diminished by the passions which actuate the parties immediately interested. But not only fewer just causes of war will be given by the national government, but it will also be more in their power to accommodate and settle them amicably. They will be more temperate and cool, and in that respect, as well as in others, will be more in capacity to act advisedly than the offending state. The pride of states, as well as of men, naturally disposes them to justify all their actions, and opposes their acknowledging, correcting, or repairing their errors or offenses. The national government in such cases will not be affected by this pride, but will proceed with moderation and candor to consider and decide on the means most proper to extricate them from the difficulties which threaten them. Besides, it is well known that acknowledgments, explanations, and compensations are more often accepted as satisfactory from a strong, united nation, which would be rejected as unsatisfactory if offered by a state or confederacy of little consideration or power. In the year 1685, the state of Genoa, having offended Louis XIV, endeavored to appease him. He demanded that they should send their doge, or chief magistrate, accompanied by 4 of their senators, to France to ask his pardon and receive his terms. They were obliged to submit to it, for the sake of peace. Would he, on any occasion, either have demanded or have received the like humiliation from Spain, or Britain, or any other powerful nation? Publius. Thank you for listening to The Federalist Papers by James Madison, John Jay, and Alexander Hamilton, read by David Grizzly Smith. The full text of the Federalist essays is available at Congress.gov, among many other places. The theme music, Johann Sebastian Bach's Prelude in C major, is provided by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com. Comment at grizzliesgrowls.com or at speakpipe.com/grizzliesgrowls. These recordings are offered under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 3.0 license. That means please make copies. Please share these recordings, but don't change them, don't sell them, and do tell people where you got them. If you like this presentation, leave a comment and a rating on iTunes or anywhere else you can. Blog about it, podcast about it, tweet about it. Tell everyone. And thank you. Thank you for listening to Stories from the Hiber-Nation. Theme music for the series is Canon in D by Pachelbel, performed by Owen Poteat of owenpoteat.com. Comment or contribute on the website at grizzly.libsyn.com. This program is offered under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives license. Thank you.